Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen real quick, and we will get going. Feel free to ask your questions at any time. And we have a couple of new members today. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So today we're going to talk about how we can use ChatGPT to query our database in a natural way using natural language, English, obviously. And before I show you the code, let me show you where this idea is coming from. So we had a couple of customers asking us recently how they can integrate ChatGPT into their application and let customers ask different kind of questions, like kind of talk to your database. So there are obviously different approaches to that, and we didn't want to upload the whole data set to ChatGPT, though it can do that. We thought it would be smarter and cheaper if you just show the structure of our database to ChatGPT and ask them to produce SQL queries for us. So let me show you how I have experimented with this. I started with two tables, orders and order details from our sample database. And this is a transcript of my chat. So the script is for MySQL. So I show ChatGPT what kind of database structure I have. And then I started asking questions like, can you help me with SQL query that shows orders for a certain customer placed in a certain month? And there are these kind of queries that ChatGPT produced. And I experimented a little bit with something that requires a group by, like orders per customer, and then some sort of a calculation where data would be coming from a different table, some of data coming from orders, some from order details, etc. So it turned out to be pretty robust, and it did make sense. So we started writing the code so customer can just ask the question. So let me show you the application, and then we can experiment with what kind of questions they can be. So we have three tables here. There is no user pick. Okay, these are typical live demo type of tables: customers, orders, and order details. So nothing special about it. So let's see what we can do with it. So if we go to a special page here, and let's ask any questions that may come up. So like, I will show you a few examples, and feel free to post your questions in chat so I can try them as well. And then we dig into the code. So let me show just a few examples. Okay, like how many customers do we have in Brazil? Let's send the request. The request is being processed, and for debug kind of purposes, I'm posting the SQL query here that was produced. So it's pretty simple. Nothing is special about it. Let's do some grouping. Show me number of customers per country. Okay. This is the kind of SQL query it produced, even with some comments. And these are, there are multiple. It's page number 2. Page number 3, it's sorted by number of orders in descending order. And it also, we decided that it would be fun if we also build a chart based on this data when we can. So the chart, like, we don't know the real, what kind of data we're getting back. So we're trying to build the chart. When we have a first column, we use it as a label. Second column, we use it as a data series. So when we have the kind of query that returns at least 2 columns, and first column is a label, second column is a number, then we can definitely display a chart. Right? We can do something. Show me top 5 spending countries, something like this. I'm pretty sure it's going to show us a chart as well. Okay, here it is. Let's see, let's try to do something slightly even more, narrow it down. Let's see what kind of data we have here, because database is kind of old. So let me see. Okay, most of the data is from 2014. So let's try to show me top 5 spending customers in November 2014. I see. Okay, so that is pretty interesting, right? First of all, we could not build the chart because ChatGPT decided to include company name. So maybe our code can be improved a little bit. So yeah, like we find the first column with actual data and use it as a chart data series. Maybe we can do that. Again, we try to do something that is simple and easy to understand. So let's take a look at the SQL query, right? So it's decided that, so ChatGPT decided that just using customer ID is not, descriptive enough. So it picked up also company name from customers table. You see, it makes sense. It just didn't allow us to build the chart here. But you see, it is pretty smart. So we get in customer ID, we get in company name, and we go into order details and picking up multiplying unit price by quantity and subtracting a discount. So it is pretty smart. It understands that normally in order details, you have price and you have quantity and you need to multiply them and subtract the discount. So you see, did figure this out on its own, and I think it's pretty smart. Though it can be, I would say there are like two things come to mind when I look at the query like this. So first of all is that field names and table names in your database, you better have them descriptive and easy to understand. If you use some random field names, it will be difficult to understand for both end users and for ChatGPT if you use it. So obviously, field names needs to be descriptive, self-explanatory, and same comes to table names. And the second one, that sometimes it may produce the results that you did not expect. So for instance, like you wouldn't know when you see this total spend if it's taken discount into an account. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You don't know that. So I just trying to tell you that this is something that is needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because it may be a little bit smarter than you think, and like these results need to be, it's not like the ultimate answer to everything. It needs to be taken into consideration what kind of SQL query was under this. So for this purpose, I am just in case, I'm logging all the queries here, and in just on the list page. I don't have a list to the list page. I will type it in manually. So on this, in this table, just in case, I'm saving all the prompts that we send to ChatGPT and all SQL queries. Here. So, okay, that's a great way. Can we use views rather than tables with good table? So the thing is, yes, you definitely can do that. So if we are talking about database views, I don't think this would be a problem for ChatGPT. If you're talking about what is a custom view in PHP Runner, it can be a little bit more tricky because SQL queries work with the actual database, and custom view is something that only exists in PHP Runner, right? It's sort of like a view, like database view, but it only exists in PHP Runner. So it can be a little bit trickier, but it can be done as well. It's just like a matter of figuring out how to properly explain this to ChatGPT. So I'm pretty sure it can be done with both database views and SQL views. I mean, PHP Runner views. So yes, the answer is yes. It just might be a little bit trickier. So let me show you the code, and I would appreciate if you can come up with a few ideas of what kind of question we can ask. So I really want to push ChatGPT to its limits, and it would be nice if we can confuse it by asking something that is too complex for it to handle. It would be just nice to see like what it can actually do. So think of maybe a couple of prompts we can ask, and meanwhile I will show you the code. So let's take a look again at what we had here. So you can see that database structure comes first, right? We need to send database structure with every request because we are not doing a continuous chat, though they can, but it's safer and easier just to send database structure with every request. And we shouldn't, since we are not saying anything about SQL query in our natural language prompts, right? So we're basically talking about this part. So this is the part that I highlight. This is what will be coming from our customer, from the user of our application. So we need to wrap it up into prepend it with database structure. So this is the code. So our request button, send request button, it's right here. And let me show you the code behind this button. So that's we're doing this in PHP Runner 11, and this is the add page, and send request is the button. So let's take a look at the button now. Probably let's just go to event screen. It will be easier there. Okay. So this is our request button. Client before event, we just hide a few things before we send the request. We just hide a few things. So if we had previous SQL query on the screen, we hide it. If we had HTML, list of data, we hide it. If we had chart on the screen, we also hide it. So we just hide everything that we do not need. And we also pass the request, our text, to our server event. So now in server event, there is some PHP code. So that's a URL where we send our request, points to OpenAI. This is the endpoint where we send it. This is our API key. I will delete this API key, and obviously you're going to need your own key. You can easily create it in a ChatGPT control panel. So we pass that API key as a access token for authorization, and that's the actual request that we send to ChatGPT. So we explained that we have a MySQL database with the following table, and we just send a script that creates this table. So you can see that this script is hard-coded. You can use whatever tool you use to create SQL scripts. You can even use PHP Runner or ASP.NET, or you can use PHP MyAdmin. Any tool will work. So these are three tables that we have: orders, order details, and customers that we work with. And we say, can you help me with SQL query that answers the following question? And we put in here our request that our customer typed. And we add a few things like what kind of language model we use. This is the default one, the one that will be used when you do interactive kind of questioning, and some other parameters. And we just send it, and we get a response back, and the response may contain more than we need. So if you take a look at the interactive session that I had here, you see it talks about, like, it provides a little bit of text explanation, and then there is more explanation about how SQL query works. So what we're doing here, again, it's quick and dirty. We just extract a SQL query from the response. We do it here, and we execute it. And if it returns data, calculate number of records. And if we have more than one record returned, we display it as table. We also save it in a log table just in case, and we display our table, and we build the pagination, and also we prepare data to be sent to the chart. Since chart is in JavaScript, we prepare an array with data, and we send it to results chart. It's chart data. So and chart is being built in JavaScript right here. So we also hide and show some stuff. By the way, if our request did not produce a SQL query, so the SQL variable is empty, we just print something like, I could not understand your request. I will show you how it works as well. And then we just create a chart. We create a chart object. It's a column. Let's, just for fun, let's change it to pie chart. I'm pretty sure that syntax is just like this. We'll try it. Something like this. Request is being executed. So, okay. So something like this, right? You say Germany. Okay, it just does the job, right? Okay, top 5 probably. A little bit better looking.